All right, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Welcome, welcome to Family Morning Transformation with yours truly, DMP Speaks. I'm so glad to be in front of you. I'm excited for you and your family. Why am I so excited for you and your family? Because you have an opportunity today that you might not have had yesterday to turn things around. And I'm hoping that when you come into this session, you feel comfortable, you feel safe, and I want to help you as much as I can in these few moments. So welcome. My name is David M. Pinkston, but I go by the name of DMP Speaks. I am a speaker, soon to be author. I'm a board certified Christian counselor, but I am a personal development coach for families. And I believe in what I'm saying because I believe in families, and I'm so in douse when it comes to families and families coming back together, reuniting, and it should feel so good. But we're going to talk about today, and I've talked about emotional support this week, but I want to talk about emotional dependence, not emotional independence, emotional dependence, that they're depending on your emotion. But that can be very negative at times. And you might say, well, what does that mean? And I'm going to explain this to you. And I'll need you to share this with someone. I need you to share it with somebody that you feel that really needs to hear about emotional dependence. So let's just dive in here. Some of your teens are emotionally in a deficit. I'll say it again. Some of your teens and young adults, your family is in an emotional deficit. That means they do not have emotional stability. They don't have that feeling. They don't have, and they can't feel that love. They can't feel that compassion. They can't feel that strength. They need that. And they're depending on you to receive that from you, is what I'm saying. And we got to do a much better job in recognizing that our teens and young adults have a deficiency of emotionalism because they are not talking as they should. They're being very quiet, right, about what they are dealing with in their minds, what they're dealing with in their hearts, how they feel about themselves. And they want to tell you, but they feel like they can't because they feel like they're so separate from you. They feel like everything else is more important than what you are doing for them, not the clothes and the food. And that's the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? That's psychology. They supply that. Let's be honest. A good mother, good father, are always going to make sure, whether they eat or not, that their children are going to eat, right? And they're going to be clothed and have shelter. That's the blessing of the Lord. I'm talking about emotional dependence. They need more than the check. They need more than you just being there. And that's great. That's part of it, being in the home, physically in the home. They're depending on you when they are having the most difficult times in their lives. They're focused on, am I going to have that emotional stability? But let me say this as well. It's hard to give emotions, positive, healthy emotions, or emotions that are healthy, however you want to put it, as a parent, when you did not receive this as a child or a teen or young adult in your younger years. Now, I hear this a lot. I'm going to give my child everything that I've gotten. But let's be honest, you can't. You can't give your child what you didn't have because you didn't recognize at that time what it was. You just know that you had your own emotional dependence, and you or in a deficiency yourself. Now, why am I talking about this? I'm talking about twofold, as they say. I'm talking about kids that are emotionally depending on you, but I'm also talking to you as parents. Some of you parents have had a deficiency of emotionalism. You kept everything to yourself. You didn't feel comfortable. You didn't feel safe physically, mentally, or emotionally to share what you were dealing with in your own mind, in your own body. So because you were and had a emotional deficit, how can you give something to someone that you have never had? You don't know what it feels like. You've never experienced it. And I know that sounds like a great thing, and certain people can, but some people can't. You can't, and I'm saying this for a reason. They need that from you, but how can they get that from you if you've never had it? If you have never had emotional stability, if you've never been able to talk freely, tell what hurts. See, uh, when it comes to men, we have always been told we can't speak, we can't show no emotion. And I'm gonna tell you the truth, that is just not true. To a certain point, I'm not talking about you gotta cry every day. This comes to at a point a man has to be able to, you know, get himself together. I mean, really get his mind, his body, his soul, and his spirit together. But we have to be able to show some emotion sometimes. We can't keep holding things in. There's a lot of fathers out there. Let's keep it a buck this morning. There's a lot of fathers out there this morning that have never been able to have a time to show emotion, to talk about some things that were hard for them, that were difficult for them. They have never had the experience to share that with their mother or their father because maybe the father was not even there. The mother might have been too busy to even listen. So they bottled all of these emotions up. And then as they got older, those emotions became hard in their heart and hardened hearts that I see a lot with a lot of men, a lot of fathers. So they're trying to give something that they didn't have in the form of materialistic things, and that's wonderful to a certain point. But when it comes to that emotional deficit, that deficiency, it rears its ugly head because you haven't had it. You haven't had the opportunity to be able to receive that and to also freely give. So it's not only the children are depending on your emotional side to be open, there are a lot of parents that don't have it. You're looking for a father to give love, but he's never really fully been loved. So he's teaching himself. There are mothers, mom, there are mothers out there that are doing their best to show love and show compassion, but because of their livelihood, because of their past, not their mistakes, not their decisions or having unwanted pregnancies, a lot of it is because of the emotional deficit. They didn't have a father to go and run to. They didn't have a mother to go and run to. They had to do it on their own. And some of you all had to raise yourself in your mother's house, in your father's house. You had to raise yourself. So you're still hurting. Parent, mom, dad, you are still hurting, and you're trying to give something that you didn't have, give love that you never had. So you're still bleeding out. So then you start bleeding out on your children. Come on, somebody, you start bleeding out on them. Ask me how I know. Now, my parents have been there, but there are times that I felt by myself. But you got to recognize when you are bleeding out and you're bleeding out on your children because you may not be healed, Dad. You may not be healed, Mom. And there is an emotional deficit that your child gets because you haven't got healed. You haven't been able to receive the healing so that you can be healed, so that you can heal and mend your relationship with your own child. Again, you're at an emotional deficit, and you continue this emotional deficit in your character. And you're showing your emotions to your children in a negative way sometimes. And you try, you do the best that you can. But again, you're still hurting. You're still in a deficit. So why am I bringing all this up? Why? Why am I talking about two sides? Because I feel like a lot of parents, again, want to give this emotional side, but it's either dried up, never experienced it, or don't know how to give it. And that's a tough place to give something that you have never had. To be able to pour out this emotion, this healthy emotion, when you have never had or experienced that yourself. So I'm saying to you, parents, you've been trying to do this on your own. You've been trying to give something that you've never been able to get, and it's been breaking you. It's another topic. But when your kid goes off to school because you put so much time in, you're like, what am I supposed to do? Because you don't know how to just be, because you didn't get that deposit. You didn't get that deposit of emotional stability. So when your child goes away, you don't know what to do because you feel lost, because you gave them something out of a deficit. You gave them love out of a deficit. But see, where my program is and what it does, it transforms your situations. Every family that needs transformation, it's not always about just arguing. Sometimes you're just missing each other. You're arguing about things that may not be a time to argue. Maybe y'all just missing each other. And with my program, I help you slow down and find balance in your life, to find that stability that you never had, and bring something to the family that you've never had. And what it is, and what it is that? It's emotional stability. So there is a family out there today, and I need you guys to continue to share this. There's a family out there today that really needs that emotional stability, that needs a balance. Your child loves you. You love your child, your teen or young adult, but y'all keep missing each other because there's no balance in the house. There's no balance in your relationship. There's no bonding like it should be. It's just you missing each other. I want you guys to be on the same level path, same thought, even if it's a little different. At the end of the day, and as I say, the beginning of the day, there is change. There's transformation for your family. And if that's you and you're tired of going in a deficit, giving your child what you have, but you don't have that much anymore. You don't have that emotional stability. You've never had it, and you're in a deficit. And you've been reading books, you've been going on YouTube, you've been listening to shows, but it's not working. Something that's not clicking. I want to help you. I want to help you as your personal personal coach for families. I want to help you develop and transform. I believe there's 5 families out there that really need this. Don't be afraid. Just you got to take that step. But you don't got to take that step by yourself. I'm here with you, and guess who else is here? More greater than me than I ever will be. Jesus is there with you. And we're going to put a plan together. We're going to execute. We're going to reconcile. We're going to feel better about ourselves individually. And we're going to bring this family back together. And if that's you, I want you to sign up today for your discovery call. And after that discovery call, let's get to work. Seriously, let's get to work. Guys, I love you. I appreciate your time. Please, again, share this message with someone. I'll be back on tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love y'all, and God bless you. Peace.